guess what? It's evidence. We can't have that back yet. My garage stall is empty. So the girls say, Mom, we still think they're gonna come home and tell us all about the concert and celebrating their anniversary. Because the car's not here. They'll come home, won't they?
I'm in here to turn this into a MAGA Republican idiotic low IQ lecture is sickening. To whine about which seats they're in.
Thank you, Mr. Schmidt. I recognize the gentleman from Georgia, Mr. Hank Johnson.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I'm so sorry for what has happened to your children. I cannot imagine what you've gone through, and no parent should have to go through what you have gone through. All victims of violent crime deserve justice, but this hearing is not about justice. It's entitled The Human Toll of Sanctuary Policies, Stories from Victims and Families. We could very well have done a hearing on the human toll of the Trump MAGA tax cuts on 17 million Americans who got their health care access and food security ripped out from under them so that the wealthiest billionaires in this country could get another tax cut. Or we could have entitled this hearing or had a hearing on the human toll of Trump's stupid war with Iran and how it's making life increasingly unaffordable for people here in America, except for the wealthiest Americans. They can pay whatever the price is. We could have had a hearing on the human toll of Trump's desperate cover-up of the Epstein files, the toll that that has played on the victims of that international child sex abuse ring. But no, we are here today, and not to cast any aspersions on any of you for testifying, but this is a Steve Miller-approved hearing whose sole aim is to stir up passion and bias and prejudice against immigrants who are people of color. Now, I mean, we have had mass murder after mass murder in this country perpetrated by all kinds of people. But I just want to talk about those that have been perpetrated by white males. Robert Card opened fire at a bowling alley in Lewistown, Maine, killing 18 people, wounding 13. Peyton Gendron, white supremacist, killed 10 people in a racist attack at a supermarket in Buffalo, New York. Randy Stair, a 32-year-old suspected of killing a family of 4 in Romeoville, Illinois. Richard Dale Crum, a 52-year-old man in Arcabutler, Mississippi, who shot and killed 6 people, including his ex-wife and stepfather. 38-year-old Courtney Gordon, who stabbed 4 relatives, including 2 children, to death in New York City. And I could go on in terms of tragedies and victims of tragedy who could be brought here to talk about this MAGA Republican failure to do anything about gun control. You know, I mean, so this is, even the fact that Mr. Romanucci, you are seated number 3 instead of number 4. I mean, normally the 3 Republican witnesses would be seated together, not sandwiching the Democratic witness in between you, but you know, you got sandwiched today for the dramatic effect of it. It's all politics, and it's unfortunate what my friends here on the other side of the aisle are perpetrating. Mr. Romanucci, the killing of Miss Good was not in a, was by rogue ICE officers, federal agents, who can't even be sued for, you know, the damage that they have done to your clients' loved ones. That's wrong. That's why I've introduced the Bivens Act, which would allow people to bring federal officials into court and sue them against these egregious actions. There are many. Certainly, they equate. I'm not minimizing the tragedy that is before us today with you 3 women, but the other tragedies at the hands of non-immigrants just as important. My Bivens Act would ensure that all victims and their loved ones can get justice, even if the perpetrator is a government official. And that's why I've also introduced the Constitutional Accountability Act, which would establish that federal, state, and local governments have the same respondeat superior liability that private employers have for their employees. So there's much we can do to bring justice to those who have been aggrieved by tragedy. Congress, this MAGA Republican Congress, is incapable and unwilling to do anything in that regard, and that's unfortunate. I'm going to be the one who yields back after going only 11 minutes over. Thank you, and I yield back.
Thank you, Mr. Johnson. Yes, that was 11 seconds over. Not 11 minutes, I would have been tapping the gavel. With that, Mr. Schmidt,
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I have some unanimous consent requests.
without objection.
I would ask unanimous consent to include in the record an article titled ICE asks Governor Pritzker and Chicago sanctuary politicians to not release criminal illegal alien accused of killing 18-year-old Loyola College student.
Without objection.
Also, an article titled Mayor Fry's sanctuary policies release criminal illegal aliens from jails back into Minneapolis streets to terrorize more innocent Americans.
Without objection.
And so too unanimous consent to include in the record an article titled Illinois father says Pritzker shows, quote, indifference, unquote, to his daughter being killed by a illegal immigrant.
Without objection.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, Mr.
And
Schmidt.
Mr. Chair, I have a UC.
Without objection.
This is from the Texas Tribune. It is from March 29th, actually my birthday, 2010. Houston, no sanctuary. Anise Parker, who was the mayor at the time.
Ooh, can I respond to that?
Thank you. You know
Sorry,
what?
it was just an
Mr. Gill is
unspoken
going to
policy.
speak next, and he is going to yield some of his time to you.
Thank
Is that
you.
okay?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, sir.
With that, I recognize Mr. Gill.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Chairman, for holding this hearing, and thank you to the witnesses for coming here and telling us your stories and your family's stories. Before we get into that, I think it's worth saying that was one of the most disgusting testimonies I have ever heard. To have Hank come in here and lecture angel families about how they shouldn't be here, how we shouldn't be holding this hearing. What the hell is wrong with you guys? The reason they're here is because of open borders that you guys perpetrated for 4 years. And to come in here and to turn this into a MAGA Republican idiotic low IQ lecture is sickening. To whine about which seats they're in. It's disgusting. That said, I'd like to give you guys a chance to respond to some of the things that you've heard, and I'll start with you, Ms. Wilkerson.
Thank you. I just wanted to say that it was a spoken policy of Houston to be a sanctuary. It wasn't written at that point, and so the suburbs around Houston followed that same policy. Anise Parker's kind of laughable to me. This hearing could also be about why we're not, or people aren't voting. You know, there's a slush fund for people up here in these places that have committed crimes, or people have said, oh, you've raped and stuff. But, you know, this hearing could have been about that too, but it's not. It's about our kids that we lost, and about the very fact that Sanctuary City Policies is creating a haven for people that came to this country illegally. Thank you.
You can put me in whatever order, in whatever seat. My tragedy is never going to be okay. I will be last, I will be first, I will be 42nd seat, if that's what you want. But we're so used to hearing everyone tell us, but we're sorry. Please, here are condolences, but this hearing should be about this. This hearing should be about me, but it's not. Today's our day. Hear us. Leave your butts in your seat. I don't want to hear your butts. Our tragedies are disgusting. I still wait for my children to come home. It's not real to me. My 11-year-old, my 16-year-old, they're waiting for their car to come home with Brady and Hallie in it because guess what? It's evidence. We can't have that back yet. My garage stall is empty. So the girls say, Mom, we still think they're gonna come home and tell us all about the concert and celebrating their anniversary. Because the car's not here. They'll come home, won't they?
A House hearing on sanctuary city policies took a dramatic turn after Congressman Hank Johnson criticized the focus of the hearing, arguing Congress should instead be discussing healthcare, gun violence, Iran, and other national issues. But his remarks sparked immediate outrage from Republicans and emotional responses from families who lost loved ones to crimes committed by illegal immigrants. Johnson opened by expressing sympathy for the families before arguing the hearing should have focused on other issues instead of the human toll of sanctuary city policies. That he criticized Republicans for holding the hearing, accused them of trying to inflame public opinion against immigrants, and listed several violent crimes committed by U.S. citizens to argue that crime is not limited to illegal immigrants. That he also claimed the hearing was politically motivated rather than a genuine search for justice. After Johnson concluded, Congressman Brandon Gill delivered a blistering response. Gill called Johnson's testimony one of the most disgusting he had ever heard, accusing Democrats of disrespecting grieving angel families by suggesting they should not even be testifying. He argued the families were there because of border policies that allowed dangerous criminals to remain in the country and condemned Johnson for turning their stories into a political debate. If you're enjoying this coverage, don't forget to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and turn on notifications so you never miss the latest congressional hearings and breaking political news.
We can't pick a headstone because that makes it too real. But you can sit here and tell us about what kind of hearing this should be. Renee Good is not the same as Angel family. She made a choice. She left her home that day, made the choice. Brady and Hallie didn't get a choice. Carissa didn't get a choice. Joshua didn't get a choice. They are living American laws, the American dream. They're trying to make this place better, and they were stolen by somebody who doesn't care. But give me all your butts. I'm used to it.
I don't know if anybody has noticed, but I am not white. I wake up brown every day. I'm not sure what race has to do with any of this. There's 4 kids that we talked about today, and y'all can't seem to stay on topic for what? An hour of your time? You got to bring up what about? No, we're talking about these 4 kids. We're talking about angel families. Stay on topic. I don't want to talk about Epstein right now. That's another hearing. I don't want to talk about ICE detainees. That's another hearing. Right now, today, we're talking about sanctuary policies and how they have wrecked our families. Y'all come and y'all feed Carissa. You get her up from her bed using a crane. And then you tell me and lecture me what this hearing should be about.
Ms. Wilkerson, we have a little bit more time. Would you like to have the floor to respond to anything else you've heard today?
I just have to agree with them both. You know, this hearing could be about anything, and I appreciate that they want to get some things on record, but it's not what it's about today. It's about American citizens who parents try to do the right thing. You know, I stayed at home mom because I wanted to give Josh my values, my kids my values, and teach them right from wrong, take them to church. And you get almost through to that point, and then somebody that shouldn't even have been here just steals their life right out from under you. You'll never understand the pain. I pray that you don't understand the pain. And it's about giving a group of people sanctuary from the law. Nobody gets sanctuary from the law. It's absolutely ridiculous. It's hard to believe we're sitting here begging you to obey the laws that y'all made. I mean, there are laws in the books. If we just start with that, we'd be better off if we just start enforcing those. But nobody gets sanctuary from the law. You know how to stay, you know how to not get killed by the police. Don't get involved in something they're doing. It's pretty much common sense. But I want it to remain about the kids, American citizens that have been lost. And I think this gentleman over here, Mr. Johnson, said that you could fill this room. You could fill stadiums. They don't keep statistics. They don't want statistics. They don't want you to know how many people
Ms.
being
Ms.
killed.
Wilkerson, I'm sorry. I get to be the bad guy today. I don't mean to be. I really could listen to all of you all day. I'm trying as chairman to get it under control, and we've let everybody on both
Thank
sides
you,
go
no problem.
over
I
quite
could
a
talk
bit.
for
I know. And I thank you for that.
The hearing became even more emotional as family members pushed back directly against Johnson's comments. One grieving mother said the hearing should remain focused on the children who lost their lives, not unrelated political issues. She described the pain of explaining to her surviving children why their siblings would never return home, questioned why race had been introduced into the discussion, and urged lawmakers to stay focused on the victims instead of changing the subject. Another parent said no one deserves sanctuary from the law, arguing that existing immigration laws should simply be enforced to prevent more families from experiencing the same tragedy. As emotions continued to rise, the witnesses maintained that the hearing was about honoring victims and preventing similar tragedies in the future. Republicans argued sanctuary city policies contribute to preventable crimes, while Democrats maintained the hearing unfairly singled out immigrants for political purposes. The exchange highlighted the deep divide in Congress over immigration enforcement and sanctuary city policies. The hearing ended with raw emotion and stark political disagreement. While Democrats questioned the purpose of the hearing, grieving families insisted their stories deserved to be heard without becoming part of a broader political debate. What do you think? Should Congress focus more on the impact of sanctuary city policies, or was Representative Hank Johnson right that the hearing should have addressed broader national issues? Let us know your thoughts in the comments below.